Cloud9 are. And what I wanted to do now is just move on and just get Sergio's perspective on a few items from his experience in terms of putting Business Central in. So Sergio, I'm going to put you on the spot. I hope you don't mind.
Go for it.
The first thing I just wanted to ask you was, you've had a history of being a CFO.
Yep.
You've had a history of being an FD. So what are the typical challenges that you faced when in those roles, working with legacy and on-premise finance software?
I think the main one is that you have multiple systems. You don't have one source of truth. Very difficult for reporting purposes. A lot of manual processes. I think everyone that works in finance or accounting at some point has had multiple spreadsheets going around with the stock in one place, with the bank reconciliation in another place. And that lack of transparency on the business, it gives you no visibility when you have to present budgets or make financial decisions. It's quite complicated if all your information is fragmented and there are a lot of manual processes involved. So yeah, I would say that's one of the main challenges with legacy systems. There are things that work and they have been worked for many years, but it reached a point where it's not working for the businesses anymore.
Yeah, we see the same, as we know, with a lot of our customers who are, like we saw in that video, bringing us a scenario where they have a piece of finance software in place, but they also have a ton of spreadsheets, a ton of workarounds, and they haven't really got that understanding of the single version of the truth. So that's really a buzzword in our business of challenge we hear is we don't have that single source. So that's really interesting that you can relate to that. And obviously you've implemented Business Central both on the client side as a CFO, but also now for the last few years actually implementing as a partner, so helping clients go live. Maybe touching on some of the things Elliot spoke about as well. What are the key benefits that you've seen from yourself and also our clients in terms of having Business Central as a new world?
I will say, from the challenges to the reality, you have that one source of truth that again is super important. You can automate workflows. You have less manual intervention, so you can add value to the system. So as an FD or CFO, you don't want to have to spend 2 days gathering information for a report. So that's one of the advantages that you can have with Business Central. Also around security and control, you can have different roles in the system. So not everyone can see all the information. There are very sensitive information in any ERP, bank transactions, payments, all those kind of things that can be have reduced visibility only for the people that really need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And even growing with that now, there's been, some concerns around Copilot in terms of data privacy and being able to access certain things. But it was great to see Elliot touch on the fact and those data rules that also can be followed by a Copilot as well. So you're absolutely right. Financial information in any business can be sensitive. So certainly our customers see the benefit of being able to manage who can access what. And final question really from me is, all of us on the call have worked in IT, probably for many years. And we really understand that moving systems, it can be time consuming. It can be sometimes painful. It can be risky. So, from your perspective, what are the key actions that we help our customers to take to ensure that the migration is, as smooth as it possibly can be?
Yeah, as you said, every change is something that you have to be aware of. But I will say 3 main key elements. So the scoping, the user requirements, that's the starting piece where you can build that trust with the company that's going to implement it with Business Central to understand exactly what their business is, what they do, why they need. You try to identify those key points to show how Business Central can and will help with that. Training is another important key piece of this challenge on implementing. It will give you confidence in the system. The system is very user friendly, but having a very in-depth training will take a little bit of that fear of change. And also the last piece, I will say, data migration. Data migration in Business Central is, I don't want to say quite easy because nothing is easy, but it is not complicated. Let's say that it is not complicated. Is you import the data through spreadsheets, and every accountant and finance person we love an spreadsheet. So it's quite detailed. You can import it, all your master data, all your transactional data, and those, I think, will be the three key pieces of on implementation.
The first one is, and it's actually quite pertinent, actually, because I think you have to look at where Business Central actually is coming from in order to get the answer to this. Realistically, is Business Central more an enterprise application rather than an SME offering? Does it downscale in all senses to SME, especially economically?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And as you know, we've been talking about Dynamics kind of reputation today, and it does have a mid-market enterprise reputation. But actually, that's sort of debunked because Microsoft have two finance products. They have finance and operations, which is the enterprise beast, if you like. Business Central is absolutely pitched for SMEs, and Cloud9, we exclusively work in the SME and SMB space. And we have clients of 1 and 2 users that are using Business Central, and we're seeing great success with BC in the SMB market. And I'm sure if Elliot was still here, he leads the SMB channel, and it's his favorite and fastest growing product in that space. So it can absolutely fit an SMB need.
And just on top of that as well, another question that I had actually is that Business Central isn't just a finance management tool, is it? There are other aspects to it which probably fit in with the SMB sort of sector.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've only really covered finance today. There is also a premium SKU, which gives you access to things like manufacturing, supply chain. We also have customers who use it as their pure solution from sales all the way through to cash, because there is opportunity management and customer management. It's slightly on the more basic side compared to Dynamics for Sales, if you like, which is the core CRM module. But that's why it fits SMEs so well, because it can be just that one single solution for a small or micro business. They only need to pay for one app every month.
Okay, fantastic. Second, another question we've got here is geared towards probably Cloud9, actually. What about BizApp's partners who aren't Modern Workplace that are looking to sell Business Central, but they already do Dynamics 365 CE? Is there a conflict of interest there, and how do you manage that?
Yeah, great question. So we do have a couple of partners that we already work with who sell other Dynamics products, and we just have to be very open and transparent and identify which lane is whose ultimately. I would say that Cloud9 are very good at staying in the lane, because typically we are in a lane of Dynamics, whereas we're working with a Modern Work or a security partner. But we just need to work together to define the lines. And ultimately, if it's your customer and you have the confidence to bring it to Cloud9 and work with us on that, full commitment in terms of you tell us what you want us to do, and we can absolutely work to deliver a hybrid solution.
Thank you very much. One on just a technical challenge and probably data challenge moving forward. I'm seeing, so probably you guys are seeing as well, and the industry's seeing people moving from on-prem solutions into the cloud. What sort of challenges are you seeing from taking it to an existing on-prem into the cloud? What are the problems?
That's a you one, Sergio.
Well, it's still a change from because usually it's from an older version to a new version of Business Central. So you have the issues that are inherited when you move to a different solution, but it is an easy transition from on-premise to cloud one. Again, I shouldn't use easy. Let's say not complicated.
And is that the same for moving from a competitive solution? I don't know, like Sage 50 or something like that.
Oh, yes. From, I don't know, we have customers that moved from Sage 50 because they overgrown that tool. As we were saying at the beginning, the data migration is quite easy. The setup and configuration on Business Central is agree with the customer in the scope. So it's not an overly complicated move from any other system that you have to Business Central. It's a Microsoft product. It's built to be not overly complicated on. Sorry, I'm going to use that a lot.
Yeah, go careful, Sergio.
Yes. But yeah,
and there's another thing I'd just add to that as well, which we see all the time, and we won't name names, as it were, but there's other solutions in the market that have limitations on the number of transactions.
Yes.
So we often get that question of, I've reached my limit with this particular tool, help. And unfortunately, they're then in a difficult situation because actually what they see is that their system starts to fall down, and having a finance system which is core to every business to fall down is a huge challenge. So that's why something like the Light package comes in really well, because it can get them up and running at speed. And of course, Business Central doesn't have the limitations of you can only do X amount of transactions in a given month, for example, which is often a ceiling for other tools.
Okay. Brilliant. I've got another question. Is there an ability to import historical data from existing systems into Business Central? Or is it start new, stop old?
There is the ability to have like historical data. It's not advisable because you stop cloud. When you do an implementation, you also try to do better processes on it and start fresh on the data that you have that is clean and on the new system. It is that possibility. You can have that possibility of have some historical data.
Yeah, typically we, as part of an implementation project, we agree with the client what data migration needs to come across. So Sergio is right. We want to try and limit it to as critical data as possible. But some clients, have said, actually, we need every order and every line item from the last 3 years. And that can be possible as well. It's just a bigger task as part of the implementation to do. But one of the things that we like about working with BC is the import wizard is all Excel based. So again, there's no complex code or data transformation or anything like that. If we can get the old data into a spreadsheet format, we help you with a template, and then we can import that. So it makes it easier to get bigger amounts of data into the tool.
So basically a yes and no.
Yes.
You probably don't advise it, but yeah, it is possible. You can basically take what you want in if you really need to.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay, so we'll just see if there's any more questions coming up. From your point of view, Kurt, how do people get in contact with you if they want to get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, the great thing for us would be to have some conversations with the partners on the meeting, whether that's around how they can offer BC to their customers. We have joint marketing, we have partner sales enablement training, all of these things that we can offer to help you feel a bit more confident. Then really the best thing is to reach out to our sales email, which I'll put in the chat, and one of our partner managers will be in touch and we can chat more.
And likewise, from our point of view, obviously, there's lots of partners online and lots of partners that we deal with. If you're in a situation where this has piqued your interest and you're thinking, well, do you know what? Actually, I'd like to do more with Business Central. Talk to us. you could drop us a line at bizapps@westcoastcloud.co.uk, and we'd be very happy to talk to you. If you come across opportunities that you'd like to discuss, even if it's do you think this is possible, or if this is realistic for Business Central or any other Dynamics solution, feel free to drop us a line or give us a buzz, and we'd be glad to help you out. West Coast Cloud, we can help you with the qualification side of things, so prior to going over to Cloud9, or we can do the introduction straight away. We're very, very happy to help. Mark, Vicky, myself, we'd love to talk to you more about your Dynamics and your ERP and CRM opportunities that you might have.